お前はもう死んでいる。何？
削除。Milady? Hey, what's up? Back with another episode of Bloodborne. We got a new build, obviously. The Milady build, as I have dubbed it. We've got the Chikage, as well as the Rikuyo. Picked up the Rikuyo in the last episode. The Chikage we picked up a while back in Canehurst. There it is. I've put some blood gems on the Chikage and actually leveled up Blood Tinge quite a bit, which I did not expect to do, but here we are. I got a fuckload of levels, and I figured, hey, I'll throw some stuff at Blood Tinge. By the way, we got post commentary today because I deleted my audio about 5 minutes before I was going to edit this video. But there it is. Upgraded both these to +9. Didn't quite want to bump them up to +10. Oh, and yes, I did realize very, very late that I did not put any gems in the base claw for the last episode. No wonder it took me so goddamn long to beat those bosses. But you live and you learn, I guess. These definitely have gems, so don't worry about that. As far as clothing, we've got the attire, the chest piece that you start the game with for the cape action. We've of course got Gehrman's cap, because it's pretty dang close to a fedora. And then we've got Gascoigne's trousers, because they look like some dumpy jeans. So there you go. So for today's episode, we're going to be exploring a little bit more of the hamlet. It's really just about all that's left to explore at this point. Oh yeah, and we're going to read these descriptions first of all. A trick sword originated in the same country as the Canehurst Chikage, only this sword feeds not off blood, but instead demands great dexterity. Lady Maria was fond of this aspect of the Rikuyo, as she frowned upon blood blades, despite being a distant relative of the queen. But one day, she abandoned her beloved Rikuyo, casting it into a dark well when she could stomach its presence no longer, hence the reason why we picked it up after killing those two shark boys. Where's Lava Girl, am I right? But yes, this is Maria's blade, obviously, as we saw. Even though she frowned upon the use of blood blades, I guess the boss battle was sort of a last resort situation. Unfortunately, it does not actually have any blood attack or anything like that. You can put fire paper on it, so there's that. Here we've got her cap in the inside shop. Among the first hunters, all students of Gehrman, was the Lady Hunter Maria. This was her hunter's cap, crafted in Canehurst. Maria is distantly related to the undead queen, but had great admiration for Gehrman, unaware of his curious mania. Now, the use of the word mania here is interesting, because if we look at the doll clothing, there's actually a reference to mania there as well. Or perhaps it was a hunter's bone. In either case, I don't have the doll clothes right now. I have to actually go get them. Here we are in the abandoned old workshop, which I've apparently been to already. The door was open. I just didn't grab these for whatever reason. There they are, the doll clothes. We've read these previously, but you know, lost track of them basically. So if we just take a quick look-a-rooney, let's see. It borderlines on mania and exudes a slight warmth. So yes, both sets of clothing make reference to mania. And if we take into account the fact that Maria sounds and looks very, very similar to the doll. I mean, she sounds exactly the same. It's the same voice actress. Plus this mania thing, and the fact that the doll will sometimes pray at the gravestone that leads into the DLC. The other version of which, in the abandoned old workshop, has the old hunter's bone. It seems that the doll was created in Maria's image to some extent. Obviously, the undead hunter's bone. I think it's just called Old Hunter's Bone. I think that's it. It makes reference to a he, but that's just sort of a translation misnomer kind of thing, because the original Japanese text is not specific about the gender, and someone just said, that's probably a he. So we'll call it a he. There we go. Let's see. It is said that he was an apprentice to Old Gehrman. Turns out it was a she. Interesting that they didn't decide to fix that. Doesn't seem like it would be all that difficult. Not high on the priority list, I guess. Anyway, there are a number of things linking these two together, and, you know, this, if you're at all familiar with the lore of Bloodborne and that kind of community, you already know this for sure. But for those who don't know, there it is. Anyway, we're going to explore some more of the hamlet today. Not going to go all the way through it, but we're going to make a good dent in it. Going to get a few invasions going on. Also, there is a piece of dialogue from the doll that we missed. My bad. There's some dialogue that she gives after you defeat Maria, but I can just put that in. So I'm going to do that right now.
Good hunter, this may sound strange, but have I somehow changed? Moments ago, from some place, perhaps deep within, I sensed a liberation from heavy shackles. Not that I would know. How passing strange.
We do have one more thing to look at, one more set of items to read, and that is we picked up Simon's clothing near the end of the last episode, which is weird, considering we don't know where Simon is. So that's something. Anyway, here we've got the harrowed hood. Certain church hunters obfuscate their identities and slip into the nooks and crannies of the city. This is the garb that allows these harrowed individuals to go unnoticed. And now that I think about it, the guy that the cannibal that we find in the forest also wears this hood. Doesn't wear much else, but he wears this hood. These hunters are keen to early signs of the scourge, serving as a first line of defense against its outbreak. Or perhaps, when the time is ripe, they find signs of the scourge where there are none. Just goes to show the corner beggar is not always who he seems. And that's the tip there. Beggar. Because that character's name is some kind of beggar, something or other. What else do we got? I think it might all be the same. Yeah. All the same. I think that's all the things that we got in the last episode. All the things of note with different descriptions and such. Unless I suddenly think of something else. But I think that's it. So at this point, we're going to jump into the dream, into the nightmare rather, and do some more exploring. Alright, boys and girls, we're back in the fishing hamlet. And this time, it's for real. I guess. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. Just gonna see if I can pick this item up without dying. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I never actually knew where the bombs came from, but they apparently come from that guy up there. I always assumed it was the creatures on the shore there that threw them. But that turned out to be not true. I fucking love the sounds that these guys make. They're kind of hilarious to me. I mean, I guess on some level they're disgusting and disturbing, but I don't know. It's just so comical to me. There's our first fish dog. Remind me a lot of the dogs in Sekiro in that very last level. Oh, here's a head, by the way. Never really noticed these before. But, yeah, they actually remind me of an item that we're going to pick up later. Pretty fucked up. Anyhow, those dogs remind me of the ones in Sekiro in the Sacred Temple or something like that. The very last level you can find in the game. I think it is. Vicious as always in any FromSoft game. Dogs are the worst. But in this game, you generally move pretty fast. They're not as much of an issue. It was a real problem in like Dark Souls 1 with the slower, clunkier combat. Spinnies. A lot of baddies over here. Hey. Throw spears at me. Fuck you up. Terminated. I just watched The Terminator today. Good movie. Not the new one. I didn't watch that. I watched the first one. I would recommend it. Oh boy, we got another shark boy. One with an anchor, no less. Plus, we're dealing with these flying purple skulls. Got full health, that's good. Should probably take out this shaman first. Is that actually the name? I'm not sure. Can't really check right now. I'm sure I have put a note on the screen correcting or confirming. Well, here's Simon, passed out on the floor. Looks like the shark boy has lost interest. So we'll see what's up with Simon.
Who are you? I'm afraid I've made a bunch of things. Oh, I can hear the bell now. The beast-eyed assassin. He's after me. Again. And again. It never ends. Please. I need you to do something. This village is the true secret. Testament to the old sins. It feeds this hunter's nightmare. Please. Bring to an end the horror. So our forefathers sinned. We hunters cannot bear their weight forever. It isn't fair. It just isn't fair.
It's not fair. And with his dying breath, he gives us a key and a weapon. Or we took it off him after he died. I mean, we do that a lot. You hardly think about it, but pretty much every time you pick up an item in any Souls game, unless you're getting it from a chest or something, you're stealing it from a dead person, which is pretty great. Let's see here. Underground cell inner chamber key. Key to the inner chamber of the Grand Cathedral cell. The innermost chamber of the underground cell holds a lone madman. He wears a beast hide and rings a bell that emits no sound. Unending death awaits those who can hear the soundless bell. So we did see this guy earlier, although, if you listened closely while Simon was talking, could faintly hear a bell sound. Oh, there it is right there. And here we have Simon's bowblade, the description for which I'm sure will pop up any second now. There it is. Choice weapon of Simon, one of the first healing church hunters. Simon despised firearms, and so the church workshop had this specialty specially fashioned to his liking. The large curved blade serves as a bow when transformed, but aside from a few close friends, Simon was scoffed at for his choice of arms, for who would dare face the beasts with a measly bow? I don't know, fucking ballers? Pimps? Cool guys? In any case, we found another lamp, a checkpoint. Can't go in this direction, because the door's locked from the other side, even though you could fucking reach your arm in and undo the lock or whatever. It's a video games, so I guess I just have to accept it. We'll go this way. Great for somebody here with a lumen flower looking thing. But beyond that, we have something. Quite something. Something that we'll be seeing again later when we get to inspect it closer. For now, we'll just keep that in our back pocket. Just checking to see if there's anything over there. There's another bell sound. A lot more prominent. And there's the guy who's after us. So, I found out in this episode that the blood mode of the Chikage pretty much negates the effects of lead elixir, which he just used. Normally, if you attack someone with that has lead elixir equipped, all of your attacks will just bounce off of them. However, in the blood mode of the Chikage, not an issue, as you can see. Granted, they do last a very short amount of time. There we got some armbands. Lead elixirs are very short-lived, but there are a few follow-up fights where I continue to test this, and it, yeah, totally negates it. Brador donned a compatriot's beastly scalp and hide while still moist with blood. Most of the bloodstains on this hide were from that day. So, clearly, he does not do laundry very often. But yeah, we will actually get invaded thrice more by Brador. And each time we'll get another piece of his attire. I don't remember if it's sequentially based, like if you always get the armbands first, or if it depends on which iteration of him you fight. And I'll probably never know because I'm not really willing to do the research on that. Bye-bye. Pick that up later. Ooh. Just wanted to see if I could jump over here. Turns out you can. For what it's worth. Also, I love the inclusion of being able to slide down ladders in like 90% of games, even when it doesn't make sense. Like if it's one of those ladders that doesn't really have sides that you can grip onto and slide down. Whoa! Gonna run in here. See if I can get back up. Spoiler, I can't. There's the bell again. Top off there. Blood mode activated. Boom. See, there you go. And he just drank another one, and I was totally... My attack did not bounce off. There's your proof. Pro gamer tip. There's the beast hide. The bloodied hide of a horrible cleric beast pulled over the back. Without the attached beast hide, this foreign garb wouldn't raise anyone's eyebrows. Brador donned a compatriot's beastly scalp and yada yada yada. So, yeah. Foreign garb. There's actually a theory from Redgrave, which I find pretty interesting, that Brador is actually from the same place that the player character is. Because he, wears a very similar foreign garb, kind of just looks like a palette swap with, with the beast scalp pulled over it. Not the scalp, but the hide. And, I think the theory may have some holes. It's been a while since I've even heard the theory. But, in any case, it's an interesting thing to think about. Interesting thing to think about. Tough thing to say. I'm not actually used to sort of approaching this area in this way. Normally I'll run across the rooftops and then drop down. And I'm kind of going the opposite way. So I'm a little confused and scared. Maybe I was crying a little bit. Who's to say? Ouchies. I would like to claim that I was smart in throwing an oil urn before throwing a Molotov. But honestly, I forgot which did which thing. I just looked at the item and I was like, that looks like a bomb. And that's what I need. I'll take whatever you got. Bullets? Okay. Well, I'm not even sure if I got him there. Guess not. Ooh. Time for spin to win. Mostly worked. Just gotta check my surroundings, make sure no one's gonna throw a bomb at me. Hear that pitter patter. That would be a wandering madness. More oil urns. It's a good thing I didn't come in from the other direction. 'Cause this guy would have fucked me up. The fins on these guys remind me a little bit of the Gardens of Eyes. Ooh, a chunk. I'll never say no to a chunk. Got one more thing over here. Gem, I believe. Yep, temporary damp blood gem. Level 6. With a rating of 17. It's one of those two. I believe it's the blunt one. I think we had the thrust one before. Hard to remember though, honestly. So we gotta get back up. Ladder over here. Climbing the shit. There's that wandering madness. Luring you into a very explosive trap. Pretty nasty. Very delayed bomb. At least the explosion took care of the madness. More chunks. Yeah, we're, as they say, we're in the end game now. So we're getting lots of high-end materials. Hear more of that bell in the background. It's seriously so silly to me. I love it. And they were bullets. We just got a whole pile of sludge just kind of drooping in here. Bunch of fucking goop. Just having a bit of a look around here. See more masts. Masts there. What elegant words we have in English. Masts. And wasps. Similar words. One interesting thing that took me a little while to notice in this area is the use of these sort of slug things as candles. Similar to the ones we can see on the ground here, as well as some eggs, I'm guessing. But if we look up here, they're apparently flammable to some extent. So, do with that information what you will. Very little you can do with that information, to be totally honest. These are some hazardous working conditions. I mean, they're way up there. On these rickety wooden planks. Fucking slippery ass fish and eggs all over the place. They should really unionize. I've apparently got a whole bunch of damp blood gems. So that's cool. Probably won't be using any of them. Ooh. What do we got here? Yeah, blood vials. Alright. Those are always useful. It's the bullets that are disappointing. Do you mind? I'm opening a shortcut. Ouch. Probably should have healed there. Guessing my health is low. Spoiler warning. That's gonna be a problem in a minute. But we're picking up some junk. Some funky junk. Some bullets here. Some bullets there. And then I die. Alright, so I went ahead and dispatched of the remaining 3 boys, as well as all the other ones who respawned. And now we're going down. Yellin' Timber. Anyway. Seeing a bunch of shells down here. Another chunk for us. And in these shells are some hot, hot ladies. Some of that mermaid action. I guess in this case there would be like a snail woman hybrid rather than a fish woman hybrid. But hey, I'm not here to kink shame. Obviously, several episodes ago we got some foreshadowing for this. One of the shells fell from the sky. And a lady oozed out, already dead. Probably from the fall. That's pretty sick. I'd never actually seen that before it happened. I'd never gotten grabbed by that. So that's a new thing for me. Pretty easy to avoid grab, I guess. Getting a lot of poor man's damp blood gems, which increase your damage at low health. Although in the case of these, they're not super great. Because, I mean, I've already got 18% gems just all the time. So, that's slightly better, 18.9. And I have to have low health. Seems like a pretty lame trade-off to me. This is sort of Bloodborne's version of the red tearstone ring. And for our troubles, odd arcane damp blood gem. It's a triangle. Don't get too many of those. Also don't use too many of them, so you know, you take what you get. I believe odd just means a flat damage increase rather than a percentage, although it does have a secondary percentage effect. The main effect is a flat addition. Another snail lady. Yawn. Already tired of it. There's a very heavy concentration of them in this area. One more here at the back. But this one's actually a slug lady. Yeah, they introduced the snail ladies. And then within like 2 minutes there's a one without a shell. These creatures remind me very much of one of the necromorphs from Dead Space. If you've played it, you probably know what I'm talking about. The one, you know, moves around on two arms and has a tail, much like these do, and it jumps around. And these are pretty spooky characters. One of the spookier characters in the game to me. There's that bell again. Let's go, big boy.
Death awaits those who pry into the unknown.
Well, he fucked me up. Round 2. You ain't getting me this time. B-Rad. Oh, I bet he's almost dead. Drink your fucking lead elixirs, it won't help. You coward. You're dead. I mean, you're not, but this particular phantom is gone. So there's that. Bloody trousers. Nothing new. But hey, now we've got some bloodied trousers. Which is great. Up ahead we got two more slug ladies. As well as a shaman. Which may or may not be what they're actually called. Also, I was very surprised to find out that there were 3 of them. I guess one of them was hiding in the tunnel to our right. More kin cold blood, dope. Kind of beyond caring about blood echoes at this point because I'm like level 100 whatever. You probably just saw it. Pretty much everything is leveled up to 40. Got a deep pit down here. Actually got quite a few options here because there's a lever, path over there, and then a path in that direction as well. We're gonna check out what's in the pit first. Whee! Cursed Kin Hunter's Damp Blood Gem. So that's going to do damage against kin type enemies, which is very selectively useful. Let's see, I think it's in the 20s. Yeah, 26, almost 27% damage against kin. It brings attack versus beast down, so like in a very particular situation when you're fighting a kin enemy, which kin and beast enemies don't tend to be in close proximity. So even though there are very few kin enemies, if you are fighting one, then it's a big honkin' help. Which I believe the boss of this area is a kin type in one phase, but not in the other. So it's sorta useful. Just want to grab this item real quick. We won't actually be exploring anymore today. We're gonna wrap it up here in a minute. Just want to fully open up this last shortcut. This is the last shortcut of the game. Can you believe it? Working cold blood, and there it is. Come back to the last lamp. There is actually one more lamp that appears after defeating the final boss, but other than that, this is our last lamp. Anyway, we done got through another episode of Bloodborne. We've explored more of the hamlet. Nearly all of it. There's a little bit more of an area that's left to explore. And then we're gonna fight the final boss, and then we'll have a few odds and ends to take care of after that. And the series is approaching its close. It's almost over after all this gosh dang time. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. From my waifu to yours, have a lovely evening. Goodbye. Take it easy. Milady.